On this channel, we've stood in some impressive garages, private collections, racing headquarters, buildings full of cars worth more than most neighborhoods. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for this.
But this video isn't just about the cars, it's about the man who built the collection. And his name is Hassan. And he's an engineer and an entrepreneur and probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met. And one of the coolest things about Hassan is that he saw a problem that a lot of car enthusiasts run into. Whether your collection is 30-something cars or 2 or even just 1, keeping track of the records of those cars and the maintenance can be daunting. So he found a way to fix it.
It's called Micurato. Think of it as a pocket garage. Every car's history, documents, specs, photos, its entire story preserved in one place. Whether you've got 40 cars or 1 car that means everything to you, their whole philosophy is that every car has a story worth keeping alive.
And today you're going to see exactly why he believes that. Now, just a fair warning, this collection is so massive we couldn't fit everything in one video. So you're going to want to come back next week and make sure you check out the other half of the tour that we are getting with Hassan and his massive collection. So at this point, there's nothing left to do but get in the car and head down to South Austin and go meet up with Hassan. Welcome to the channel, and why don't you just go ahead and give a quick introduction of yourself.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. So my name is Hassan. I started the Micurato app. Obviously, I started as a hobby.
Yeah.
You'll see why.
Yeah.
I used to run all my cars. I used to track all my cars in Excel.
Oh,
I got
wow.
old very, very quickly. So I created the app, and then one thing led to another. So where you are today is actually my home. So this is not a business. This is purely what I call the gallery. We are now standing in the shop.
I think first thing, let's talk about some of the stuff that's in the project area. So
Sure.
I know like this has been like a passion project for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, so this is actually the first car I ever bought.
Oh, wow.
Of all the cars in here, this is the first car, and it's been a project because just like any first car, it never stops
Absolutely,
improving. So you see here is my mechanical kind of area with the lift. I have the electronics area.
Okay.
So my background is electrical engineering. So
Yeah.
although I like to work on cars, I actually do a lot of the electronics myself. And then in that cabinet that is open, that is the 3D print station. So I
Very cool.
still print all of my parts.
Nice.
I print everything that goes in the car. So what I'm doing now is actually building the dashboard
That's cool.
for the vehicle with a fingerprint start.
That's awesome.
You can't buy it, so
Yeah.
I'm actually making it. So this is a 1931 Ford Model A 2-door. You can see it is a project car. So it was running, but when I was building this place,
Yeah.
it was unfortunately outside.
Oh,
So when you keep a car outside for a couple of years, I haven't turned the engine yet. So I have it here. What I don't like to start too many projects at the same time,
Right.
because I forget where I was.
yeah.
So as soon as I'm done with this one, I will get this one running. It's actually not in bad of a shape. I just got the new tires, the new wheels on it. Don't ask me why they put blue on a white wall. So I gotta clean that up.
So actually, I know why.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that blue is actually, while they're being stored, it helps keep the white walls white. And yeah, what a lot of people don't know is that you are supposed to warm water and soap, which should remove that almost immediately. But
Perfect.
if they sit too long, it becomes harder to do it.
Okay, so that's what I haven't figured out yet is how long they've been sitting.
Yeah.
So I have to clean that out. But as soon as I get it running, hopefully the engine is not going to be a problem. Then I'll figure out and I'll start working on the body. I don't do a lot of my body work because I'm
I don't blame you.
too much of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So the wall art was Color Cartel, local graffiti
Oh, that's awesome.
artist, which is I got one of his paintings. Here, I got one of his paintings, and I loved the style. So I asked him to do a
That's
racing.
very cool.
So actually, this here, if you look at it, if you look at 1984, the Detroit Grand Prix,
Yeah.
and this is a shot You can find it online, like a black and white or the yellowish car shot that shows the cars coming out of the Detroit City.
That's awesome.
So this is the gallery. This is where I keep most of the cars. I have a few cars that are not here. You can see I'm already in the middle.
Yeah.
I have not caved and put lifts yet because I don't know how it would look like with lifts.
Yeah.
But most of the cars, except this one, which is track only.
Right.
All cars here are street legal. So I will drive all of them. You've seen, a lot of people here in Austin have seen, some of these cars.
Right.
Because I take them out. That's almost my regular driver lately. So yeah, so like I said, every car here has a story of it by itself. You got the GT40. This is a 17 Viper. That's the last year made.
Yep.
GTC. That was actually my daily driver for a few years when I got it. A lot of fun. Again, naturally aspirated, V10 manual transmission. Probably one of the later and naturally aspirated manual transmission cars.
Yeah.
With a high power.
Well, and still something that's still quite analog, like even with more modern ABS and more modern traction control, that this car can still, those are barely operable from a lot of owners that I don't understand. So it's like, it's on there for safety purposes, but you're still very in control of this car.
This is where, a lot of people, they call this car, or the Viper in general, the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
For a reason. Most people, unfortunately, can't handle the car and they get too ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
It took me, with all of my driving experience, it took me about 3 to 4 months of regular driving just to get the feel of the car, the stopping distance, the weight and all of that before I got comfortable pushing the car.
Okay, so this one, this is awesome. And these are one of the cars like I've seen so many pictures and so many videos of. I've never seen one in person. So,
it's funny. So many people have said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Mostly when I drive it.
Oh, wow.
At lights, people actually make it a point, roll the window down and be like, I have never seen one in real life. Everybody's got the same experience online, but nobody's seen it in real life. It's a lot of fun to drive.
Oh, yeah.
It's a V8 Aurora engine. And this one, so they made 239 of them. This is number 98, and it's a supercharged.
Nice.
So it's a V8 supercharged. Nobody's got the actual number, exact number of how many supercharged were. People guess between 15 and 30.
Yeah.
So plenty of power. You can't really see it from the outside, but it's a lot of fun to drive. It's also a manual transmission, obviously convertible, but why would you put the top?
Why? No. That's like, even if we look at its predecessor, I see a lot of guys that do like the hard top conversions on those. Like, you're kind of taking a lot away from the car when you do that. Yeah.
So this is a CSX Cobra. So that's a 40th anniversary CSX. Of course.
Love the blue.
Signed by Carroll Shelby.
That's awesome.
On the glove compartment, glove box. I love the, traditional blue and white stripes. You see the GT500, same kind of color scheme. We'll walk by it, and just it's a beauty of a car. It's a lot of fun to drive, a lot of power. That is the 427.
That's awesome.
That's the one I was mentioning to you. Is a 427. Again, history in the making, right? From the Shelby, which is the biggest history, is this tribute, 1 of 6. This is actually number 6 of 6. Daytona Coupe secret weapon. So that's the one that Shelby built. It's got a 427 Camaro. Beautiful engine. This was supposed to race at Le Mans, never made it. Didn't have a drivetrain. So this is I chose to keep it, people talk about the brushed aluminum. This is the raw prior to being brushed. That's why you see the patterns are almost random. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
So I decided just to keep it exactly like original. Don't want to polish it, although it looks really nice polished.
Right.
I wanted to keep it that way. The problem is fingerprint.
Yeah, well, and there's a certain beauty about this sitting in its raw natural form versus polished out and then very pristine, and then you get to the point where you're like, don't touch it. Just don't even look at it.
So this is a GT500 KR.
Nice.
So that's the king of the road, all original. It has air conditioning, obviously FastAct. This is one of the historic cars, the KR. They brought it back a few years ago as a KR with the modern Mustang, but you can't beat the engine in it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of car to drive, a lot of fun car to drive.
I'm not a huge yellow car fan, but this looks really, really good. This goes on very well on this.
GT350.
Starting to see a theme.
Also, so you can see the theme, but then we'll change themes on the other side. This is the funny thing about this car. $3,880.51 on the window sticker.
I mean, I can go get a check if you don't mind hanging out for a minute.
And the funny thing, power steering was an option. Power disc brake is an option. The shoulder harness is an option. Fold down rear seat option. So what we take for granted today were actually options, and the range of options, just to put in perspective, $40 to $60. This is the 2020 GT500 track car.
I love that color.
So that's the track car, or what they call the golden ticket when they came up with it. I opted for the blue with the white stripes. I love this car so much. I was living out of state. I was working out of state for a little bit, and I bought the exact same one, which is the red one out there.
That's awesome.
To drive it out of state, because I just fell in love with the car, how it drives. Still am. One of the, obviously the GTD came out, but from a coming back to the GT500s and the stance and everything, this was one of the greatest comebacks for a GT500.
Are you a fan of the GTD?
I am a fan of the GTD. I don't have one, but I'm thinking about getting a GTD competition. So we'll see. This is a 350 R Heritage. This one I probably will be taking it out this weekend because I'm done looking at it. It has 7 miles on it. You can see the plastic is still on.
I was going to say the seats are still covered.
So I am going to be taking it out. I just have to figure out the best way or to remove the shock, the dampers on the shock. They're still in there. The dealer never removed it. So I got to do that before I can drive it, but that's my next drive out.
Honey, GT350. I'm trying to weasel my way to get one next year.
Demon. So this is the 2018 Demon number, I want to say 27 or 28.
Okay.
So this is one of the first 50 that they built. I wanted the yellow with the black matte.
I like this color combo.
So I ordered it I didn't want it all yellow.
Yeah.
But I wanted the pop, but I wanted the look to be a little subtle.
Now, did you chip in the $1 to get the box?
I did. Actually, it was $3.
Oh, okay.
Because $1 for the passenger seat, $1 for the back seat, and $1 for the box.
That's awesome.
So I splurged on all 3 options for the car. But I also got the rear seat delete kit.
Okay, that's cool.
In case I change my mind one day, I'll put it with the racing brackets to go drag race the car. Growing up in days, you have to have a DMC. The DeLorean has no power,
No.
but it's so much fun.
Oh yeah. I would assume that out of everything in this vast collection, that's probably the one like you pull up anywhere and everybody instantly, they know what you have. They know what the car that is. There's no question to it.
And everybody's got the exact same response. Does it have a flux capacitor?
Yeah.
That's the question that everybody asks. And then the last one, I actually took that one out yesterday.
Nice.
This is a 1953 Muntz Jet.
Okay. I've actually never heard of that.
So there's 400 of them.
Okay.
Not as pretty as this one. This was built, I bought it after SEMA. So that was a SEMA build. And so the Muntz, nickname Madman Muntz, was a radio salesman.
Okay.
And wanted to make the cars, made 400 of them. I mean, you want to talk about options. Inside bar, this is a snakeskin interior.
Oh, wow.
It's, needless to say, lost money on every car, went bankrupt after 400 cars, and then discontinued the builds.
And that's why it's part next to the DeLorean. Okay, that makes sense.
That's right. That's right. This has a Corvette engine in it.
That's
so
cool.
It's a Restomod, chop top.
Like LS or small block 350?
No, it's an LS.
Oh, wow.
Hydraulic or air suspension.
Very cool.
Air ride on all wheels. So it's a lot of fun. When I park it, I drop it.
Nice.
Looks cool when it's.
It's very old school, like almost old school lowrider. I love it. I love the
and the
look
paint
of
job on it is just amazing.
Yeah.
So I lucked out there. And then those are the two latest additions.
Okay.
This is a 67 Camaro.
Very nice.
Convertible
yeah.
with AC option.
Oh, wow.
Factory AC.
Oh, nice.
So it's a very rare combo. Beautiful build. The company that MCR, Muscle Car Restoration, does a lot of restoration for me on my cars. This was the owner's, both of these were the owner's car.
Nice.
So he was shrinking his collection. He knows I'm a big fan of both of his cars, both rotisserie restoration.
Very
so
cool.
I wouldn't pass that.